Hi there, I'm Dooder, and welcome to the den. So normally I would rather have a scripted video, just because the only other video that I've ever done on this channel was one that was scripted, but I feel as though it was probably a bit too forced and not something that really left me feeling all too comfortable. I think that's mainly because it was also a college project as well. So obviously this video is going to be a lot more casual in the sense of a voiceover and just overall the topic of which that I'm really deciding to discuss. So today I wanted to share with y'all my newest little artwork piece. This is something called a GloomJaw. They are a creature that I sort of cooked up my little head, and they are a part of this larger world building project called Hell's Maw, and that is currently something that I've been working on, my god, for the past maybe 3-4 years, on and off. Nothing too extreme, obviously, but yeah, it's just this little world building project. And so I've been making supplementary artwork and different sorts of things like that for it for a while now, and decided to finally sit down and record some of it, and I figured it'd make a really nice video. So basically the GloomJaw is a species of pliosaur that has sort of adapted to life at Hell's Maw, being found in like these very craggy, rocky reefs all over the coasts of the landmass. And they're not necessarily a pelagic species. They're much more epipelagic or coastal. They, I tried to base their proportions more off of something like a loggerhead sea turtle, while still, making sure to reference pliosaurs. And also I wanted to reference things like marine iguanas and crocodilians. So you can see, like, he's got a lot of different like little tassel bits. He's got bumps. He's got plates on his tail fluke. So he's a bit more gnarlier looking than his real life counterparts would probably be. Though that being said, I have no doubts that there were some sort of or ornamentation on pliosaur species that existed, but I just don't think it was maybe to this extent. But I wanted to make them look a little bit gnarlier. Hell's Maw is it's very much inspired by Peter Jackson's King Kong, The Lost World, Kong Skull Island, that whole sort of Land of Time Forgot kind of vibe to it. And yeah, their basic role in the ecosystem is they fill the niche of a crocodile or a shark in these shallows. They eat basically everything they get their mouths on. They're very powerful. They're not too nimble, but they're nimble enough. I would say that they are probably a little bit more agile than something of a similar stature that would be a more deep sea faring creature, because these guys have to navigate reefs and craggy outcrops and things like that. So yeah, they're pretty gnarly. They're one of the they're the first thing that I really I wrote about in the accompanying little like novella that I've decided to start writing on for them. And here you can actually see me, struggling to sort of figure out their patterning, because for the longest time I wanted them to have these big, very prominent stripes down their back, and I figured, let me try and cover it up first and then take away from it. And at some point you'll see me realize that I think I prefer the idea of him having more of a teardrop-esque design instead of just pinstripes. So I decided to give the species more of a sort of a killer whale-esque kind of design, where there's not too much going on. The main sort of color pops being from the underbelly and the eyes, really. But I wanted to try and make sure that I kept it grounded for the most part. I have no idea where I'm going with this, basically. But I just wanted to really sort of keep the visual representation of what this guy is in line with what I described him in the little novella, which, if you would like to read, I would very much appreciate. It's available right now. The epilogue, or rather the first chapter, epilogue, whichever you would prefer to call it, it's available on my Wattpad and on my Deviantart, which are linked in probably the description, as well as the about section of my YouTube page. But I really, really love designing creatures like this, and so I had a ton of fun really building up this guy, and thinking about his niche in the overall wild, how it affects things around him. These guys, also fun fact, are going to be one of the few critters to come out of Hell's Maw that actually do escape the confines of the landmass. So the first encounter, which I don't want to give too much away, I would like it, to give some semblance of an incentive to read it. But the first encounter with these guys is with a fishing vessel, and it's off the coast of Hell's Maw, more towards Papua New Guinea, the sort of the Southeast Asia, or rather the South Pacific, that they encounter this guy in, and it does not really go too well for the crew of said fishing vessel. But I'll leave that up to you guys to really take a step back and read yourself. I would appreciate it if you did so, and obviously give me any feedback on how my writing could improve, or what you thought of it as well. I'd love to hear from you guys about that. But yeah, as you can see right now, I'm just kind of tidying up the line work. I really didn't know if I wanted to make the line art thicker or if I wanted to leave it faint. I decided to go with a thicker line art in the end, just because it helps really bring out the borders. And here you can see me sort of coloring in every sort of bump and nook before I eventually just decide, screw it, I'm just gonna block everything out. And yeah, this guy took around, I want to say maybe overall in terms of total work hours, probably around 8 to 10 hours from sketch to value and full completion, which is pretty typical for a smaller scale creature like this. I didn't really put too much in terms of detail or texture on him, just because the majority of him is going to be a really rather smooth texture because he's an underwater creature. The bumps that I did end up doing, the little like tiny tubercles and protuberances all over him, I wanted to keep at a minimum, just, you know, because as someone who is very much interested in ecology and biology, I know for a fact that the more ornamentation you have on you in the water, the more likely there is to be drag. So I wanted to make this guy as streamlined whilst being as gnarly as possible, and I think I'm very proud of how he came out. Right now I'm just, you know, sort of coloring in, giving him all those nasty little yellow teeth, because, you know, there's no toothbrushes in the ocean. And yeah, I you know, tried to make sure that I stuck with the here. Actually, the eye is probably one of the coolest things that I really got down to, that I based off of a humpback whale's eye, because they're just this like incredibly vibrant color, and it's really quite stark if you look it up. They're like a sort of like a hazel. They look, you know, like they're on fire almost. So I really wanted to capture that as well. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh my gosh. Sorry, I do trail off a bit, but yeah. Anyways, I very proud with how this guy came out. I really wanted to get this sense of bulk. Here you can see me just sort of adding value to everything, giving it a little bit of shading, making him pop, making him become more three-dimensional. But yeah, so I think I nailed it. At least I hope I did. You guys can let me know in the comments what you guys think about his design. I want to keep it sort of faithful to pliosaurs and to reality in general, but making it my own sort of little beastie. And I'm really happy with how it came out. I was debating on their name for a while. You know, I was bouncing back and forth between a bunch of different names, but I think GloomJaw is probably the most fun of a name I can come up with, that is catchy but still, you know, gives this sense of like you know, wariness. I do want to go about, I like naming things, at least, you know, my creatures, based off of either, you know, something that is very apparent to their design or something that is very reminiscent of their design. And, you know, with other I'm assuming I'll be doing a lot more of these kinds of videos. So, you know, when that happens, you know, you'll see a bunch of different other, you know, little monsters that I'll cook up in my head, obviously. And you'll get to meet all of them and sort of become more accustomed to my weird way of naming things and thinking. But yeah, this whole video is a much more different thing that I'm what I was originally planning, and I do plan on uploading a lot more art videos, but also I want to upload more science-based videos that may have a bit more of a scripted aspect to them. So yeah, I'm thinking that probably this year I'm going to try and do maybe you know, 2 videos a month, one being an art video, one being more of a science-based, like, video essay kind of thing. Obviously, they'll still be casual, this will be fun, but, you know, my art videos are going to be ones where I'm a lot more just chill. You get to really get to hear the real me, whether or not that be a good thing or not, that's up for you to decide. And the science-based, more video essay ones are going to be fun, obviously, but they're going to be a lot more structured, I think. But anyways, yeah, this is the final product. I'm really happy with how this guy came out. You can see the actual you know, artwork on my Deviantart page, my Instagram page. Those are all linked in the description and in my video about section on YouTube. If you want to learn more about Hell's Maw, you certainly can by checking out my Deviantart, my Wattpad. And until then, like, comment, and subscribe. Maybe watch my other videos. Right now I have 2 up. And yeah, thanks for watching. So I'll see you next time. This has been Dooder, and thanks for stopping by.